Hey Ian, you ready?
You bet I am. What are we talking about tonight? And talk about guns?
If it's not a 30 cal, I'm not in.
Jeez, mate, that's not very inclusive. Have you seen Jono?
Hey Jono, you ready?
Well, God knows where he is, mate. He's probably caught up in the neighbour's wire again. Are you ready to go? Let's do this.
Mate, I'm ready. Let's crank it up.
Righto then. Welcome back, listeners, to another episode of the Hunter's Campfire, where we're going to talk about all things hunting and the great outdoors. And we'll probably throw in a few tips along the way.
You want a tip? Say it once, say it 1,000 times. Goats love rocks.
Or a few things about deer. Mark, what do you reckon about deer?
As a deer hunter, I love hunting pigs.
Well, that's about as useful as I expected it to be. Oh, check it out. Here comes Jono. He's being chased by the neighbour's dog.
Okay guys, let's get this started. Welcome to the Hunter's Campfire. Pull up a chair, get comfortable. It's time for the Hunter's Campfire.
Oh, no,
Don't panic, it's on an earthquake. I'm just trying to get my monitor right. I don't know if it looks like what you guys look like, but to me it looks kind of out of plumb.
Well, I'm into my second bourbon, and you look reasonably straight.
I'm always going to look straight, buddy, no matter how many drinks you have.
Okie dokie. Welcome back. Episode
124.
rock on. Nearly
I think.
quarter of the way through the
I'll
next.
have to check, but
Let's
I
call
think
it
it
100.
might be
Yeah, let's call
120.
it.
Well, we might be
Brilliant.
recording 124.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's
On
go
a-
with that.
Where are we? We are the 5th of June. Quite late in the evening, and
Mhm.
it is decided to be winter.
Yes, winter has arrived.
It is upon us.
It is upon us. It's turned up. It's a bit late, but it's here.
Yeah, far out. So we're looking at looking at messages of people talking to us and getting advice about going to Nundle and Hanging Rock and places like that. Should I go? Well, at -5 and -6 degrees, damn right you should. As long as you can stay warm.
That is never ever a question.
No, it's not a question. And you know who said this, because I've said it once before and you told me who said this. There is never bad, excuse me, so I'm also getting over a flu. There is no such thing as bad weather. There is only such thing as bad clothing choices.
That's right. That's right. Poor clothing choices. That's it.
So
Or
who said
inappropriate clothing. Yes, this
Other
will be
than me,
124.
for the second time. Whose quote is that?
I believe, well, I got it from Billy Connolly. I'm not sure if he's the, it's his quote, but he says it.
Well, we'll find that out. But yes, so if you're planning on going out this weekend, and I am in one of the colder parts of New South Wales going hunting this weekend, and I was really looking forward to it, and more so now that I've found my electric blanket to take with me. That's important. And I've decided to take my son with me this weekend as well, who doesn't believe in anything but a T-shirt. So when we get down to where we're going, which was -3 this morning, you may consider his clothing choices. But the real reason I'm taking him is so that he can wheel the wheelbarrow that has the Blue Eddy battery in it that is powering my electric blanket that will be around my shoulders as I hunt. I'm trying a new thing.
What wheelbarrow you were talking about? Yeah, well, look, one is you're going towards Glen Innes, and that is often a particularly cold place in New South Wales. So you'll feel it. But I love winter hunting. I love it.
Yeah, same.
It's the only downside of winter hunting is the days are shorter. That's the only problem.
Yeah, but is that a problem? Because
Yeah,
how
it's
much
a-
time
but
do you
because
spend
I
in the
want-
middle of the day waiting for your next
Well-
hunt session later that afternoon?
Well, yeah, I'm not usually. I don't usually stop. I only briefly stop through the day, anyways. I find that that's the only problem with winter hunts is the day's too short, so I'm not hunting as much. And if you hunt Nundle in winter, it can be pitch black at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
if you're there in the wrong kind of weather. But I never think. I always think you go. Unless, there's things that stop you to going, i.e. fire or something like that, or the park's closed or it's flooded. Yes, I'll accept that. But if it's cold, go for it. Have fun.
There's no doubt they'll be looking for that.
I've found that goats fall over quicker in the cold. They just kind of
give up.
Get easier. They seem to give out over they go. They give out. So yes, I as I said, my winter hunt's only less than a month away. And we're looking at the long range forecast is sunny days, somewhere around 0 degrees at night and low teens during the day. Sounds absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to say there's a whole lot perfect about the temperatures that are coming our way this weekend, but there's no precipitation. It's just cold.
That's it. So I'm actually going to experiment with our new campsite this weekend on our front lawn.
Your new camp setup?
Yeah, because my son is now wants to sleep in his own tent. He did that when we went to Nundle. He wants to sleep in his own tent, so we're working out I'm changing my camper. So I'm going to take a small tent. He's going to take my very small hike tent, which he loves. And I've got myself one of those 3-meter gazebos, and we're going to kind of use that as the standing storage area and have the little tents off that. So because in winter we take the big tent, but he doesn't want to sleep in a big tent with me anymore. He wants to sleep in his own tent, which is cool. I'm very excited that he wants to do that, And he did find in 1 year in Nundle, he did find that big canvas cavernous tent ridiculously cold, in fact.
Yeah. It's better to be in a small swag than you are in a big tent.
He's in a small, super light hike tent. It's quite compact and small. He's in there, so he's pretty happy in there. So that's what we're doing. So yeah, we're going to experiment with the setup this weekend on that for Pilliga hunt. In the beginning of the next month when school holidays roll around. Awesome. And looking at the weather, it still looks really, really good. Still looks good.
Now, talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So yes. So back to it. If you're wondering, should I go? Unless the weather prevents you from getting there, as in either it's on fire or it's snowing and you can't make it through the roads or it's flooded. If it's just cold, go. It's a great time to hunt. Don't have to worry about meat going off quick. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, some of our best hunts have been midwinter, for sure.
Like Nundle, you can actually hang the meat in the tree overnight. It's kind of like you see on YouTube. It's very, very civilized. Right. The only thing we're trying to figure out is a heating system for the main tent, not our area, for the main one, because the main one will be off Graham's camper trailer.
Have you considered a diesel heater?
I have that little firebox one. I'm going to look at that again, and I have looked at various heaters. I haven't considered a diesel heater, but I have considered a gas heater that blows hot air.
Yep. Yeah, diesel heaters very cheap to get a portable diesel heater and very efficient and quite easy to set up. They just poke one end of it out of the back of the tent with the exhaust. They take stuff all diesel. And you can pick them up for a couple of $100, and you've got a little portable diesel heater that'll heat your tent, no stress at all.
So yeah,
definitely worth a look.
There is a companion one that's a hot air blower type thing. So yeah, we're looking at various heaters. Oddly enough, the way, kind of like your setup, once you're inside, you don't have a fire. You either sit outside around a fire or you sit under cover. The sitting under cover is you've got the kitchen there and the fridge there and everything's there, and you got the chairs there, but there's no real heat in that space. So we're considering what to put in that space. That's the question, because we'll want it at night, that's for sure. And I've told the boy he has to have a shower, but the deal is he can shower in the middle of the day.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's it.
That's nice of you.
Because it's a 6-day hunt, and I've not been around a stinky boy for 6 days, for 8 days, getting there and back and hunting. So that's the winter hunt that we've got coming up.
Yeah, well, kind of winter related. See this hoodie?
Yeah, I got one.
For those of you listening, not looking, I'm wearing our Hunter's Campfire.
Mine's on the clothesline.
Blaze trimmed hoodie. Quite a few of these have gone out now. Rave reviews. They're a nice, heavy hoodie, really good winter hoodie, well lined. This one's been through the wash quite a few times. It's bloody good. If you're looking for a hoodie, buy ours. Go to the website. They're expensive. but they're worth it.
Speaking of things to buy, there will be more knives soon. Soon. That is
By the time you hear this, they will have sold out.
That's a technical term for we're not exactly sure when.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's gone.
They are. If you want to go and look at them, here's an interesting thing. If you want to go and look at them, they are Outdoor Edge 3.5-inch razor light. Here it is. If you're looking at us,
yeah, they call that. Is that the ECD?
This is the ECD. What does that stand for, mate?
No, have I got that wrong? No, EDC. Everyday carry. Everyday carry. Got my acronyms around the wrong way. No. I've got mine. Mine is the everyday carry, which means it looks more like a pocket knife, folding pocket knife, rather than say the Havlon type of knives. It's the blade shape. Everything about it is much more pocket knife shape.
Yep, it's a great.
Which I actually think is a better shape.
Now, to talk through the knife, man, this one's razor sharp still.
They are.
It is a pocket knife style. It's a folding blade, but the blades are replaceable. So you can just push a button and you can pull the blade out. I'm glad that worked.
Yep.
Once you've butchered a deer or two and this is full of gunk and shit, those blades can take a bit of effort to get out. But they come out eventually. And on air, I'm not going to cut myself as I put it back in.
And the blade
what we've done is we've managed to get access to these at a very good price, and they come to you etched with our Hunters Campfire logos, which is nice. And you will get it delivered, logo and the great knife, for less than you can buy it anywhere else. How about that?
Better than a poker knife light stick. And the blade is actually, I think, the blade is a very good shape as well. So it's like that replaceable razor blade isn't, again, like a scalpel blade. It's more like a knife blade. It's got a bit of a belly to it. Yep. It's actually a knife blade. They're quite nice. The only thing I get a bit nervous about them is the spare blades. Once you start working them and you're replacing blades and things like that.
Well, I can overcome that problem because this particular one has pulled apart now 15 deer without replacing the blade. Yep. And the blade is absolutely sharpenable. It's of a quality. It's thick enough. It's not like a razor blade that once the razor blade's dull, it's dull. I run that over the steel and I keep using it. So
you actually sharpen it?
Oh yeah, I run the steel over it, no problem. And it's still razor sharp. Yep. So that's the only way that you could pull apart that many deer on it.
Wow,
carrying the extra blades, not necessary. So you now no longer have to worry about packing out a dull blade in your pack with no sharps container. Just give it a touch up with your steel. Use it again.
There you go. I never thought about that.
Excellent.
That's a great idea.
So now that we've sold that to you, the everyday carry will be under $100 to you.
Or pretty close to there, somewhere around that.
Plus postage. Ready to go. So put your orders in now. Limited edition run. Will be it should be on my doorstep the time you're listening to this. Ready to post.
There we go.
How's that for plugging of merch? Hoodies?
It is. It's a very
winter.
Good hoodies,
you know one thing that we need in our arsenal of gear? Beanies, man. We don't have beanies.
We don't have a beanie.
We don't have a beanie.
I do like, there's two beanies I like.
Yeah, this is interesting. Throw this out to the audience. Go. Whether they agree.
Like Mark Hobbs Bush Edge thin merino beanie. I wore
Here it is here. I'm wearing it. Costume change.
Is that the blaze one?
Yeah, I got the blaze one and the black one.
So I got a blaze one, and there's I think there's probably a bit of video footage of me wearing it on the last hunt to Leard. I wore it, until it started warming up and put a hat on after that. So I wore that one. And the other one I like is the First Light beanie with the little peak in it that makes you look like Radar O'Reilly from MASH. She's doing like a helmet liner beanie. I really like those ones as well. So if we can mold
so what do you
those
think about them?
Together.
Well, I'm curious to the listeners whether they like a peaked beanie or whether they like a traditional beanie. If you're jumping on, if you're watching now, you'll see the Bush Edge one. This is the one I really like, and I kind of like I'm peak curious for sure.
Yeah, if we can mold those two together, that'd be that's what I like. Because the peak one's actually really just nice to wear if it's cold all day. Because I tend to wear a beanie early on, and then when you're walking, you start to get warm, and then I just put it in my hat, that big floppy hat that I like, the bucket hat I would wear everywhere. So I keep the beanie with me.
Yeah,
But
be inspired by your peaked beanie.
I'm assuming that when we're hunting down in on the border of New South Wales and Victoria in August, I'm not taking the beanie off.
No, I often wear my beanie over my cap like this.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. No, it just not look. It just feels odd. It just feels odd. So,
anyway, so that's the beanie. Yes. Tell us what you think. Do you like a peaked beanie, or do we go with the traditional? But I think one way or another, it'll end up being a nice, snug-fitting, thin merino style.
That's what I really like about the Bush Edge one. It's a really well made one. It's in merino. It's
double layered,
thin, but it's not. It's thin, but it doesn't feel thin. It's just it's like an athletic style beanie rather than a big tea cozy thing.
Yeah,
I do have tea cozy beanies as well. They're cool.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the big thick ones. They tell us we're going to do a run of beanies. They'll be there soon. What next?
Well, I suppose it's worth mentioning what's happening in New South Wales with the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party. It is potentially big news. I've just been looking online right now. There's nothing update other than a media release that went out today, basically responding to what the Greens' reason why they don't support it. I noticed it was actually the media contact is Brian Boyle. There you go. Yeah, so working around the fact that we haven't got any direct feed what we said. So there's been a couple of really interesting things. One, Ned put out something last night. He's down there with a few other people. I saw Safato, I saw Profty in the group down there, which is great. Ned was very, very positive. His post is shared to our Facebook page, which you can read. And there's a new, as I said, a media release went out today, basically attacking the rubbish science that the Greens have been using to express their opposition to the new bill that the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party are trying to get up. And unfortunately, I'm not going to go into names, but there has been some less than complimentary conversation on Facebook from the hunting community, or parts of the hunting community, which kind of shit me, but I'm just going to let it slide. Those guys from Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party are in a political arena, and there is no doubt that they're going to have to do some deal to get this through. And we have to be grown up and accept that's how all of politics works.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're trying to get it through, and they seem to be in a good position to get this through, or as best as they can get it through. I think that there's no way that we can actually derive a bad outcome from this. I just, if we really want to see hunting established as well as it should be at a political level, this has to be this is what it's got to be about. That's what's going to happen. Some interesting things. Oh, look, the best case scenario is the bill is through at 100%. That's not going to happen. A bill is a negotiation. And so you negotiate, and you immediately you state in your negotiation up front that these are the things you're not going to pursue, these are the things you are going to pursue, and immediately you're kind of allowing you're saying, well, you're giving something away to begin with, and you go from there. There's some really interesting things. One is, to me, one of probably the most important thing, or certainly a really important factor, is this idea is the cultural, I suppose, acknowledgement the acknowledgement of hunting as a cultural pursuit. I think that's both a worthwhile thing to aim for, and I think politically it's also very smart. If they can get hunting recognized in that sense, or at least acknowledged in that sense, then that's actually a really good place for hunting in New South Wales to be. The suppressors thing is very, very interesting. We've spoken about it briefly. It'll be great for people in New South Wales. There's no way that we Queenslanders are going to get any kind of access around that thing, because state boundaries and things like that. But if the guys in New South Wales can start to use suppressors, that kind of brings us in line with the 20th century, so the last century, where other places around the world, which is fantastic. So yeah, there's lots of bits and pieces. Of course, there's more land, and there's different types of land. I don't want to go right into it without, because I might get it wrong. But there's different types of public land in New South Wales, like everywhere else, and they're looking to get access to some of that different types of public land, which would expand the footprint of hunting. The idea that hunting is no longer it moves, by the sounds of it, it's going to move out of DPI. This idea that it has its own ministry, sits under its own minister or something like that, which again gives it more legitimacy. An example of that is, at the moment, DPI, who do so the guys in the hunting section of DPI, they do a fantastic job. But what people don't realise is they don't actually look after the forests. Forestry do. So they have to kind of work through forestry to get things to happen. If we can kind of move beyond that somehow.
I'm sorry. You were saying?
As I was saying.
Welcome to the podcast, John.
Sorry, yeah, I'll say apologies. That was my fault. Yes, I was late and caused the whole system to crash. So blame
John. I opened the door like a 3-year-old opens a fridge door with both hands.
Wiped us all off the face of the podcasting universe.
That's right. So so one of the problems at the moment is that DPI doesn't run the forests, or the hunting part of DPI doesn't run the forests. Forestry runs the forests. So, they have to work through these various layers of government and officialdom to make things happen. So hopefully this idea of having their own departmental, representation, or maybe even a minister for hunting, could maybe improve that. That's, there's lots of improvements in this system, or there's intentional improvements that will ultimately make hunting better for us, for peoples in New South Wales, but for those of us who currently hunt under the R license. So yes, but I think more importantly, the fact that they're pushing to improve something that is an improvement to hunting is commendable. Considering what's happening in WA, it's commendable. So I'm very much hoping that they get it up, and they further push hunting as a cultural pursuit in New South Wales.
But from what I've read, is the biggest pushback has been against the bounty, is paying people to shoot for animals.
Yes.
But we're already paying bounties in most states for, I don't know about New South Wales,
it's a really
but in
interesting
Victoria
thing about that. And I've been thinking about that all day after our conversation.
And we discussed this morning.
Here's an interesting concept. Okay. From a philosophical point of view, there's two things that have always kind of come up in this conversation, and I've been thinking about this a lot. One is, firstly, depending on why you don't like hunting, hunters are basically the Grim Reaper. So in Victoria, for instance, hunters are the Grim Reaper. They are wiping out ducks and fish, and fishermen wipe out fish. So you have green zones, and you can't have duck seasons because they kill all the ducks, yada, yada, yada. When we come to invasive species, the naysayers say hunters spread them. They grow the species. So when it comes to invasive species, we hunters are the stork. We bring little piglets to forests and deer and stuff like that.
and drop them off.
But when it comes to other species, we're the Grim Reaper. It's an interesting concept if you think about it. I wish they pick at least one of us. We could be the Grim Reaper or we're the stork. Somehow we're both. It's a really interesting, if you think about it, it's a really interesting way of thinking about it. The other thing is a far more interestingly economical. So if you look at it from a government point of view, feral animals are a sunk loss. Okay? They have to be managed, and there is no real return on that management. It's a sunk loss. It's like dealing with litter. Okay? So from a governmental point of view, treasury point of view, public funds, it's a sunk loss. If you step down to, say, a landowner, a farmer, it's now a direct out-of-pocket loss. Crop damage, stock loss, all that kind of thing. It's a loss. It's a different kind of loss, though. It's probably a more felt effect. So the minister is in charge of a budget that has to spend money controlling feral animals. A farmer has to basically pay for that out of his pocket, his or her pocket. Then you get us, which are a weird mob of people who say, look, we want to hunt, and we want to help with this problem, and we're actually going to fork up our own money to help. So we're going to pay to help. which as I've said before, is a very interesting concept because there's no other thing. People don't pay to pick up litter. No, you don't. Clean Up Australia Day, they don't say, okay, you have to buy a license, to help clean up Australia.
You're welcome to pick up the rubbish. But
that's right.
But you got to pay for it.
That's right. So it's a weird thing to be a hunter because you've got public land hunter because you've got to pay to pick up rubbish. So we pay. The interesting things is the people who, and I'm not going to name names, but the people who are against us, the organisations and the things that are against us, often get paid. They get grants, they get research things, they get paid. So the only people who are making money off ferals are the people who are supposedly the people who know all about this. The rest of us pay. So even this argument that the bounty is going to take money away from good things and give it to bad people, either Grim Reapers or the Stalks, depending on who you are. My question is it the fact that is it more the fact that they just don't like other people getting paid for something they're doing at the moment? Because you think about it, if you got paid some money to shoot pigs in Nundle or wherever, that would be an incentive to go more often.
An
example I gave today was on private land. We went to the Barrabar last year, and it cost everyone some coin to do that. It's a private block. We had to pay for it. Imagine if we said, okay, it's Sunday morning, let's go make our money back. And we just went out and started flattening pegs.
Well, that's exactly what would have happened. We would have said, Mark, you take your team up on the hill and you go make us some money and the rest of us will go chase deer.
You go, mate. But you think about it. So you would kind of go, well, that now means I can go hunting more often.
It's incentive.
Well, what do you reckon the bounty's worth? What do you reckon they're going to put on a pig?
Don't know. But even if it's $20.
Well, what do you mean, even if? That's a good number. I mean, I was thinking it'd be more like $2.50.
No, it's not.
No, well, what's a fox? A fox is like
$20 a pig.
Well,
I'd become a pig hunter for $20 a pig.
One stage wild dogs are $100 up here in Queensland.
I think Victoria's 50. I think it's $15 or $20 a fox.
Are you going to pay tax on this?
Well, yeah, because it's real money.
Well, not as a cash.
It's not like the DPI go, hey, meet us out the back. There you go, son. Don't spend it.
Come on.
It's a cash.
I'm going to declare it as income. It's like
Don't spend it. Don't spend it all once, fellas. But,
you don't have to pay for your pokey winnings.
Well, I don't know, mate. I haven't given it that much thought. But I would assume that it's government money. There is something on it. But
they're going to make it back somehow.
That's right. So
you're
now... They do now. We pay tax now. We pay tax on, rifles.
They're going to charge us. They're going to charge us money so they can give us a bounty to fix a problem that they have. This circle is retarded.
Well, it's a good business model.
$20.
So you think about it from that way. So yeah, well, let's say it was $20. So you go that'd be fuel money. You cover a tank of fuel or something like that. So again, that would certainly promote you to go more often.
So quickly, the Victorian government has recently announced the continuation of the Victorian fox bounty till 30th of June 2026. The reward payments will remain at the increased rate of $14 per fox scalp. So $14. $14 a scalp.
No, I think depending when you are, there's lots of foxes. I don't know. I know a mate there was a guy at ADA, Wayne. He bought his first car with fox belts.
That's awesome.
Well,
as a young fella, he used to go out every weekend and shoot foxes, and eventually made money off fox belt. Now,
we just want to say quickly, according to Google AI, yes, tax is usually required on fox bounties in Australia, specifically in Victoria, according to the Victorian government's Fox Bounty program. While the bounty is a payment, it is considered income and subject to taxation.
As I said, they're doing us a good job, but they're not performing miracles here. Okay, we're not getting a tax-free status. Now, we've just got Frank.
I'm going to give the details.
Yeah, Frank has 2 pups left for sale from, it's just, the sire is the male, isn't it? You don't say
Joan is the bitch, and Joan is Frank's indicating dog.
Yes.
Who has had somewhere around 12 puppies, maybe 10 left, something like that. There's two of Joan's pups no longer have owners for various different reasons. And he's looking to move them on. That's
right. So basically, to decipher what Ian just said, Frank has 2 pups for sale.
Frank has 2 pups for sale. They are German short-haired pointers, one from a hunting line and one from a working line, which calms them down, which is a really good thing. They have been raised as hunting puppies, which means that he has gone through a process of teaching from the moment they were born until the moment that they get given off to the owner, the new owner. Each puppy will come with a crate. It will come with a few other items so that you can train it, and it will come with a subscription to the Big Game Indicating Dogs Blueprint, which is a $400 or $500 training program which will help you and the dog become a good team to indicate big game, i.e. deer. So it'll be a deer indicating dog. You'll join a chat group. You'll join a support team, if you like, of people that'll help you train the dog, and you'll learn how the whole thing progresses. So that's what's included in the package. I can't tell you how much it is. It does have the word thousands in it. It's actually a very reasonable price. I just need to double check it. We'll post some photos up on our Facebook page so you can see them with the full package details included. And the other thing I can tell you is it will be, what was I going to say? The thing I can tell you is, I've forgotten what I was going to tell you. I think they're males, both of them, just so you know.
Yeah, I think they are both males.
What was that?
And our family very nearly got one.
Well, a number of our group did. A few, well, not a number, but a few of our
Plenty
group
of the
did.
guys from Hunt Camp have picked them up.
Hunt Camp got. Yeah.
So they'll be good dogs. If you're interested in looking at an indicating dog, you won't find one that's had more thought put into the breeding, and they've had a very, very good start. So if you're up in Queensland, Frank will be up here ready to deliver the pups about the same time this podcast come out, unless we get it out quickly. Sometime around the middle of June, they'll be ready to be handed off. If you're south of Queensland and you're looking for a pup, Frank will hand deliver it to you and spend some time with you to show you the ropes, and we'll help you with the training. It's a good package. Oh, yes, that's what I was going to say. I don't know how much they are, but you can guarantee it that if you ask for the Hunter's Campfire discount, you'll get one. Hashtag Campfire.
That's right.
Campfire code.
Hashtag Camp.
Right.
10% off.
There you go, Frank.
There we go. And he's going to give us some stuff for a post too.
There's actually something else really cool going on with these puppies that I can not officially say, but there's going to be a fair amount of attention from one of our major sponsors put on these puppies as they develop, maybe branded even with this company's brand and special dog wearing stuff. Anyway, you'll figure it out. Can't tell you that because I haven't finalized all the details, but you could be part of something pretty cool. Hashtag
That's awesome.
something something dog.
Hashtag
Something
no
ready.
idea.
Hashtag one of our sponsors' names, dog. AU.
And I've just sent, Frank's just posted a photo and I've just sent it to my.
Oh, look at that one. Have you ever seen the movie Dumbo?
Yeah, he's got these.
Look at that dog in the background with the big ears. It's about to take off.
I just forwarded that image to my lovely wife just to tell her what we're missing out on.
Oh, dear.
It does look like Dumbo.
It does. It's going to fly. Look at those dogs. Holy shit, they're cool. They're both liver in color. Oh,
See, I'd want one.
you want a...
The
Oh,
mottled,
you want
whatever,
the brown roan with the different colors, whatever they call it. Yeah, well, doesn't matter what color it is when it points deer at you.
That's very true.
No one cares.
No one cares then. That's true. Very true.
Look at that one at the back. You have to jump on. Guess what's going to be the cover photo of our podcast tonight?
Yeah, that's it. I reckon that's fair enough.
Righto. Anyway, Mark, Jono, do you get this magazine?
I do get that magazine, yes.
Have you got it? So I'm pointing at SAA's Australian Hunter, Australia's favourite hunting magazine.
It arrived today. I haven't opened it
Yeah.
yet. I got it today.
In this book, I wanted to point you to page 77. On page 76, a Kiwi Red. On page 77 is a photo of the inside of the hard antler pub in Haast, which is covered in deer antlers all across the rafters I was telling you about. That's where we go before we jump on helicopters. I was pretty excited to see that in the magazine.
We're going to have a beer. We're going to be having a beer in there next year. Yep.
We will be having a beer there next year. Even if we take off from the other side of the Southern Alps, we'll have to land there for a beer and come back again in the helicopter. It's pretty cool. The other good part of this magazine that I thought Mark might like, Mark doesn't get this magazine.
Mark should get the magazine.
It's only a pretty cool T-shirt. Tusked Terror.
Tusked Terror.
To see you getting down the gap in one of them.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Mark was the Tusked Terror.
Yeah. I don't write too much for Australian Hunter.
Yeah. Anyway, It's a nice glossy magazine. Quite like it.
It is. It's a very nice magazine.
Well,
Okay.
It's quarterly. I do write occasionally for it. I've got a few that I've written for, but I generally write for Shooter.
Right, we're moving on.
Like, yes.
Let's talk about Leard.
Leard. Let's talk about Leard now. Adam and I went to Leard State Forest last weekend. I'm saying it Leard because it's spelt like beard with an L, but some people have already pronounced it Laird. Let's not get too hung up on that.
it's the English language, nothing's.
Leard.
That's right. If I was in England, I'd call it Laird.
Yeah, I'd call it Laird.
Yeah. So that was my natural description of it, but it could be Leard. So it's an interesting block in that it's actually a relatively large forest, but some time ago, and I don't know exactly when, they decided to stick a coal mine in the middle of it. And it's an open cut mine, and there's actually two mines. There's a larger mine and a right in the middle of it, and then you might say in the northwest corner is a smaller mine. Now, they're active mines. They run 24 hours a day. How do I know this? Because you can hear them running 24 hours a day when you're in the forest. Every so often you hear a very loud noise. I don't know if something trucks dumping stuff or it's explosions, but you hear this every so often. The actual forest, so it's immediately you lose a lot of space in the forest. So you're kind of hunting the fringe of the mine, if you will. I've heard some really interesting reports about it, and obviously it's an area of contention with certain locals in regards to the loss of the forest to the mine. There's all sorts of weird things around that. People told me that there's, tire spikes and all that kind of things in there. What we discovered when we were in there, that no one goes there. The tracks were bare. We saw one guy in there, and he happened to be in the same weekend we were in there, and he was cutting timber. I'm assuming that he was legally allowed to cut timber, because it would be wrong of me to assume otherwise, but he was there cutting timber. And his tire tracks were going over our tire tracks. It's almost like the forestry part is almost like it's abandoned. No one goes there at all. We found a fairly significant dump where people have been dumping cars and washing machines and crockery and tractor tires and 44-gallon drums and 20-litre drums and all sorts of other stuff on one of the boundaries. And then we found this really weird thing called a archaeological site that had a little sign on it that said, do not disturb, contact environmental officer, with no branding and no contact details on this particular sign. So we didn't know, again, if that was
someone supposed to contact.
Being creative with the thing. Made a very interesting observation. The archaeological site was right next to the dump. And we thought,
so there's probably some bodies or something in there.
In 5,000 years might be there a bit of wire around that dump saying archaeological site. So
there's probably a couple of bodies
to actually
lying
hunt
in
it, the other unfortunate thing about Laird was there is a bit of forest to the southwest that is green, as in it's a huntable area, but you can't get access to it legally. It's landlocked, and the only way in or out is via a track that is currently fenced off by the mine.
So no corner crossing then, is there?
Well, it's landlocked, but there's the corner is a big corner. So there's like half a K of private land, which we believe belongs to the mine anyway, that you would have to cross to get to the fence line. So it's not like on a border of a road where you could technically pull over the border and I suppose go over the fence and then you're immediately in the hunting zone. You have to cross a fair bit of unhuntable land. I liked that corner block. I thought that was going to be quite an interesting corner block to explore. We couldn't get in there. So we were basically to hunt the eastern side of the property, the forest, and part of the northern edge. We had a northerly blowing, so it really further limited our what we could do. There's also, I've never hunted it before, but there was a walking only hunting zone. I haven't encountered that before. It literally says,
as opposed to running.
Yeah, well, as opposed to you can't take a vehicle in there at all.
You have to walk it.
So walk only. Walk only.
How was
no
that?
Vehicle.
How was that advised? Did you run across a sign, or was it on your map?
That's right. So on the map, it's a green map with these big green dots on it, and he looked it up, and it's walking only. So only foot access. So you can't take a vehicle in there at all. So we wanted to hunt that. So what we did was when we came in the afternoon, so we drive down from Brisbane. If you're heading south towards it. So you're coming from the north. When you get to Narrabri, rather than kind of go down the Newell, so when you kind of cut through Narrabri to go down the Newell or hunt Pilliga, you drive straight through Narrabri town and out through the back, through some fantastic cropping country where the pigs are literally visible from the road. You can see them. You go past the green paddock and there's this black blob in the middle of it moving around slowly. There's little piglets on the side of the road like babe looking at you as you drive past. Lots of pigs down there. So we came in from the north, drove the major track along. So when you come in from the north, I'm assuming that the forestry road, like say Pilliga Forest Way or Nundle Forest Way, was actually a gazetted road, and that got you to Boggabri, but that's now closed because that takes you directly into the mine. So they've cut another road right around, which is I assume the mine did. The tricky thing about it, on the map, the hunting map, it says you can go through there. It actually marks it as, so it's got that weird thing where it's a exclusion zone, but on the road it's green. So, you can drive through the exclusion zone. You can't. There's a big mine in the way. And when you look at that mine on Google Earth, you realise that there's big heavy haul trucks moving up and down all the time. So I didn't even get, we didn't even get to a
You're
gate.
probably allowed, but it's a dumb idea.
Yeah, we didn't even bother. We did hit one track. We did hit a gate, and the gates were not just gates. They had a gate, and then they had like the offset barriers, dirt barriers, so like to create the chicane in them. So we drove down. We found a nice place to camp about 1 kilometre from the walk-in only area, and so the next morning we went out just after dawn, and because the northerly was blowing, so it was blowing basically directly behind us the way we were heading. We stuck to the low boundary line till we got to the far boundary line, and then we cut uphill because that walk only area is basically it's a slope. So we walked the slope. All down the bottom is great pig country, swampy, lots of pig tracks, lots of wallows, very, very. But the wind was behind us, so we probably weren't going to see anything. When we cut up, so we were cutting back into the wind and getting elevation. Pretty good scrubby country to hunt. Weirdly, and like a lot of places, you hit that scrub band about halfway up where, the really heavy scrub grows, and it kind of grows in like on a contour level. It grows. So I was spending some time concentrating, getting us through that, because I hate pushing through the stuff, because all you do is you end up just pushing and making lots of noise. I was zigzagging through it and finding pathways through it. And when I was doing that, Adam and Graham were behind me, and they spotted 3 very good pigs. Adam reckons the black boar that he saw was equal to the big pig I shot up in the territory. Jono?
Nice.
It's about the biggest one he's seen so far in the state forest. And there's 2 equally big brindles with it. And Adam let Graham have a crack at him, and that was Graham's first time of seeing game animals in the state forest hunting. It was the first hunt he'd ever been on in the state forest. He'd been away with this before, but this is his first time with an R license, with a rifle in his hand and all that stuff. So he lined up on a pig and fired and missed, but he was very excited by being able to do it. We talked about what happened, and then we moved up. We kept moving up, and we were heading to another exclusion zone boundary line. Got up there near the boundary line, had a rest. Amazing amount of kangaroos in that place. Amazing. We had roos literally just kind of coming up to us and looking at you.
It's unusual for state forest, though. Don't normally.
Man, the roos numbers were huge.
Really?
And again, because I just think no one goes in there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surrounded by grasslands, which I believe was obviously private land once, which I believe the mines have bought. So it's just surrounded by this grasslands, and you look out in that grasslands, it's just full of roos. So we're walking along this top ridge and walking into the wind, and we heard them first, and then spotted 5 little kind of piglets. They were not sucker piglets. I'm sure there's a name for it, but they were a medium-sized little pig, and so 140 grain pig met 150 grain bullet. So we had one on the ground. Yeah, had one on the ground. 140 grain pig hit a 150 grain bullet. So put him a little one on the ground. Couldn't see the sow. I'm sure they were still with the sow, but the sow was gone. The others bowled off down the hill, so we had a good giggle about that. So we had something. Headed back to camp, got back to camp, had a feed and went out again in that afternoon. Walked some hill country. Didn't do too well on the hill country and ended up doing about 20 plus Ks that first day. Second day, went out again, first light, got into this kind of meadow area, which was really, really interesting. That's where we saw that very suspicious lump of poo. Is that deer or is that a billy? I can't tell. Not a roo. It's something. It's not roo. It's something. Didn't have enough evidence to make a conclusive call on it, but that's something.
You thought it was deer or
yeah, or most definitely deer or goat. It was near some heavy timber, some natural, some native timber. We're in this really interesting meadow country. It was really nice country, very grassy. It had been planted with pine some time ago. The pines weren't particularly tall. Still a lot of eucalypt and stuff in there too. There was a big eucalypt stand. I thought, well, if it's a deer, they're probably over there, but the wind was wrong, so we kept moving. Got into some pig country, some swampy pig country, came out, jumped to another area, walked another part, found some scrapes. Again, wasn't exactly sure if they were goat or deer scrapes. The reason for that is they were very thin saplings that had been rubbed, but they rubbed quite high. And the other thing was
sounding more deery than goat, because goats eat rather than rub.
Yeah, well, no, I've seen billies rub, and I've seen them actually shot them with the rubbing still in between their horns.
Not saying they don't, but it's a lesser behaviour.
Yeah, and so
but they
were very small. That was the thing. So I thought, and interesting, and whatever was rubbing them up, because there was actually, when they rub and you get kind of that like stringy, there was bits of it stuck high.
Yeah, but
I'm thinking that's deer.
Sounding a lot more like a deer to me.
Yeah, but it just wasn't. Is that like I didn't any prints and everything else to make it, but certainly something was rubbing. So again, that was good. We went into that country that we're right against the fence line in this kind of pocket near an exclusion zone. That's when we saw another pig, and the macropods gave us away, and the pig moved, and he was moving back and forth under cover, and I was pointing at it with the camera at the guys. It's there. We couldn't get a shot on it. I didn't try to shoot him. I was trying to get the other guys on it, and it was moving back and forth, so we didn't present a shot, but it certainly was there. So we ended up coming to an exclusion zone and got to one of the big mine gates. Walking back along that track to the car, the amount of wallows along the side of the road, because the tracks there, they've built them up a little bit, so the tracks are a bit higher than the scrub, so by about 1.5 feet. And what you get is these little dams that form against the track, little wallows. And we found a heap of those, and they were all full of pig tracks. And that's where we saw those tiny little
piglets,
tiny little ones, man. They were like cartoon size. They must have been just out of the egg, those ones. Tiny little pig tracks. And then we went back, packed up camp, had lunch, packed up camp, and drove to on the way out, drove to another part of the forest and hunted another block on the way, just another part on the way out. And again, found out where the pigs were coming out of the private into the state forest through this creek bed. It was just pig prints everywhere. So the place is full of pigs, and there's other game in there. So it was an interesting explore. We didn't really have any expectations. When we found out we couldn't get into that little corner block, I went, that has further limited our opportunity, and that's northerly just made it really difficult, because you could only really hunt one way that whole weekend. So I'm putting a video together about it, but it's good to find out about another forest. Yes.
Compared to other blocks, so Severn, Pilliga, Torrington, all of those, what's it similar to in terms of its makeup? Is it rocky? Does it have outcrops? Is it undulating? Is it mostly that scrubby casuarina? Is it more native? Does it have water?
Okay, it's more scrubby, so it's kind of like
Severny scrubby.
Not rocky. It's not rocky. It was interesting. It wasn't rocky. So it wasn't like New England rocky. I was a bit surprised about that. It was actually more white clay.
Okay. So it's a clay base.
When
more
we went
like
up on the hill, when we went up onto hill country, I was looking for rocks. Wasn't really, there was the occasional, but there was no heavy rock out.
So there's no goats.
No way it was goats.
No way it was goats.
way
Exactly.
it
Well,
was
they
goats.
reckon they reckon there's a heap of goats in
Doesn't work.
the mine next door. They reckon
Goats
there's
don't like
hundreds
white
in there.
clay. It's not the same thing. Goats
Yeah,
love
so
white
rocks,
clay.
Mark.
No.
Rock, no.
There's
Goats
hundreds
love
of
rocks.
goats. They reckon there's hundreds of goats in the mine right next door. So
Oh, well,
that's
far
why-
out. If there's hundreds
They're
of
there.
goats next door, there's no way they're keeping them out of the park.
That's it. That's why I kind of went, I didn't know. So it's that scrubby kind of.
You haven't painted me a picture yet. What sort of scrubby? What do you mean by scrubby?
So when you go to Severn
Southern
and
Block.
you are going to hunt the Southern Block, and you first go in, when you go up to the rocks,
Yeah, up the top.
you know where you lost GPS
The
signal that
GPS
time?
signal. Yeah.
Not
It's that
helpful.
Where the
kind of-
dingo cave, where the dingo cave is.
Yep.
Yeah, where the dingo.
Yeah. So
Yes,
it's
just up from there.
a lot of regrowth, but it's probably, but in terms of a lot of the country, it's like Severn, but it's down. So it's that kind of tree cover, but it's got a lot more water running through it, like in the bottom of Severn down near the private, where it gets quite muddy and wet.
Boggy place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all runoff. It'll be all runoff. Yeah. So you've got there is pine in there. Someone has planted pine in there, but there's a lot of scrubby regrowth, and there is still a reasonable amount of eucalypt in there as well.
Okay.
So it hasn't been heavily hit by forestry.
What about fires?
Didn't see any sign of fire. Nope, not a sign of fire. People have been cutting firewood around. They cut it right against the track.
I'd say that's not legal.
Right against the track. Like, you come around the corner, you go, oh, wow. And you come around and there it is. That's the scene of the crime. Red dust, red sawdust everywhere.
So groundwater, but no obvious main creek system or anything?
No, we didn't find, it was all runoff creeks. Didn't find there is a creek that runs through there. I think it's called Goonbriar Creek, but we didn't see, it was patchy water along that creek line, but the other areas were much more runoff. They had water at the moment because the place had rain recently. That's another thing. I'd be very wary of going in there after rain or during rain or directly after rain. I reckon it should be very boggy,
especially if it's clay, white clay.
Yeah, and the track.
Severn's got a lot of that white clay, but it's got a bit of that
that's it.
it
Reminded me a lot of Severn. Especially in the northern block, when there used to be some tracks used to go in where they were just car wide and it was a white clay and they were treacherous, your car would just fall off the track and get bogged.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I know.
Look, I don't know if I'd go there again just to go there, but it's certainly worth a road trip hunt. So if you're going to hunt a couple of forests.
Is there anything else nearby? Is there anything else nearby?
Yeah, it's not far from the Pilliga. It's not far from the Pilliga. So it's just east. It's just east. It's east of Pilliga East. So as you come out of Narrabri, if you're going to Pilliga, you kind of not exactly go west. I wouldn't say you go hard west, but you kind of lee to the west a little bit and you go out down the Newell. This is you drive straight through Narrabri and kind of go a little bit to the east and south. So it's towards Boggabri. The actual mine, I think, is actually the Boggabri mine. They call it. Boggabri is the closest place, and that's.
And what are they mining?
That's. It must. It's an open cut. I'm pretty sure it must be coal.
I think it's coal. Yeah, there's a lot of in the news about that mine. A lot of uproar about it.
Yeah, yeah. I would say that
public land and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I'd say there is a fair bit of uproar about that whole thing.
Because the stuff that's going on in the Pilliga is gas, isn't it?
That's gas.
Yeah, that's gas out LNG.
In fact, if you look at the maps of the Pilliga now, it's called gas. It's a gas field.
Right. What's happening with the rail?
Well, supposedly it's going to follow Forest Way up.
Yeah, but I heard with the change of government now, it's in question.
I don't know. Well, it's a federal program, so I don't know. But it's supposed to follow Forest Way straight up, which would make sense if you're going to run. if you're going to run a rail line, you might as well follow a cut track rather than cut your own. So yeah, so it's east of Pilliga East. So, and there's another forest above Pilliga, and I can't think of its name. It starts with C, because in 2018, Leard opened up. And the reason I know that is that's when we did the 10-day road trip hunt, and it had just opened and we were looking forward to getting in there. But then they closed it because immediately there was a firewood issue in there.
Yeah, right.
I remember correctly. So we didn't get access to it. But yeah, it's an interesting forest in that it's pretty much, people don't go there.
Yeah, I think if you're going to go all the way out that way, you'd go to the Pilliga, wouldn't you?
You just go Pilliga. That's what.
Which gives it. I won't repeat his rating, but we all know Adam's rating of our forest, and it got a very high rating.
Let's call it Adam's scaredy cat rating.
It's got a very high rating, and the archaeological site got very much a Blair Witchy rating too. And Graham's has the same kind of approach to these things, and they're both talking about Blair Witchy and stuff like that.
It gets spookier and spookier. Yeah,
that's it.
Well, that's a good summary. That's a good summary.
I'm looking at the map, and I mean, it's not far from Pilliga.
No. No. So basically, to go to, and you just if you come out and if you continue to head south out of Narrabri, you go down the Newell, which splits the Pilliga in half. If you're kind of going back towards the east, you go down that other one, I think it's B72, whatever it is, and it goes Boggabri, and that kind of takes you back to New England. So it's cutting down that way. Okay,
because you've got the B51, which heads to Boggabri and then heads south to Gunnedah.
Yeah, that's it. And that'll eventually you'll see Willow Tree will appear, which is below Tamworth. So it's kind of pushing its way back towards the New England.
And if you look what's out towards the east, you got Bingara and you got Barraba.
That's right. Yeah, you're almost in line with those. They're a bit. Well, Bingara is a bit further up because you can go from Narrabri to Bingara, but it's Barraba and all that stuff. Yeah,
and that's good deer country. So we know there's got to be deer around there.
Well, mate, not at the mine where you are south is through the park itself, because you're in a bit of a dip, so you can't get too much of a panorama. But a bit further north of it, as you're driving into it, you can see that whole range there. And it's all agriculture below that range. And, on the other side of that range is Barraba and all those places. So, it's certainly a game corridor. Certainly a corridor.
Interesting.
Anything else?
It was a very interesting place to hunt.
Got anything else, guys? Jono, have you got anything you wanted to add since you missed the intro? Anything fun going on?
No, nothing fun for me.
Nothing
Just
fun
work,
for
work. I'm going fishing. That helps.
Again?
On Saturday.
Did you take your boat out?
No, on Saturday I'm doing a father and son charter. There's a charter that runs off Hurls. You know the charter we did with Hendo? A year or two ago. When we went off Raby Bay, we went out with Hendo's brother-in-law that I knew from work.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, anyway, he's running a father and son or mother-daughter or father-daughter, whatever charter on Saturday. And so Adam hasn't been offshore yet, so I'm taking him offshore on Saturday. We're doing a charter. The wind's looking good. But I haven't hunted in a while. Our freezers are overflowing. I don't need any more meat. So I'm good for the moment. So just do a little bit of fishing.
Get the biltong machine humming, man.
I need to get it going. Have you tried yours out yet?
No.
I'm on meat gathering mission this week.
That's right.
Is that to fill Mark's freezer or yours?
Mine don't need filling, man.
Yeah,
I'm actually giving lamb away to make room for Vinny.
I haven't got any.
I'll have to take some lamb if you give me some.
I don't have any unprocessed meat in my freezer at the moment. All of it's already been processed. So,
I'll trade you some lamb for some good buffalo.
Fellow fairy is going to visit my house.
I'm happy to trade lamb for buffalo.
I'm going to put. So yeah. Yeah.
I use that's what we use ours for. That and tacos are great as well.
Well, I don't do a lot of tacos because I don't eat the carbs at the moment, but I do a lot of spicy bolognese on zucchini noodles. which I enjoy a lot.
We had it earlier this week. In fact, some red deer. Helen made a mince-based meal out of red deer. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think I'm making 6 kilos of mince worth of bolognese at a time.
Jesus, wow.
Like cauldron stuff.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then I just I vac seal it. Oh, not vac seal it. I ziplock it into as much as you can get into a snack size Ziploc bag, which is about 200 grams of mince and sauce and carrot and onion and everything that's in it. 200 grams fits in one of those. So I make it, I get the cauldron, I stick it in the outside fridge. It's set so it's, not sloppy.
Yep.
And then I can just ladle it into that and I just do like 60 bags at a time. It's great.
Yeah.
Real good. So I'm doing it that. But biltong has to start again. I'm keen.
Yep. That's why I'm keen to have my first crack at it.
The thing about it that I was wondering the other day as I was driving along thinking about eating meat, as I do, you make this biltong and then you slice it into little pieces. But you just mung on it as a dried piece of steak. Be too chewy.
You can do.
That's the whole thing.
You get a big piece and you just yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can.
Why do we slice it?
You don't have to slice it.
You don't have to. It's easier to eat. It's easier to eat.
Why don't you say you bought a biltong slicer?
No, I said I was going to buy one, and I have to, and I'm going to. Yes, a manual one. Yes, I need to order one from the same people that made the biltong dryers, the Kalahari Kabu. I
nearly bought that the other day, but then I realised that I have a biltong machine that works just fine. I should just get it out and use it.
Yeah. So
next podcast, it'll be behind me. You'll see it.
The local store around here sells biltong like that. Sells it in strips like that big,
Yeah.
And you just get one and just kind of chew on it for an hour and a half as you drive.
In South Africa, as a kid, if you've got a baby or a toddler, when they're teething, you give them a piece of biltong and they just sit there and chew on it.
Or those that hard bread.
What's that? Rusks, yeah, rusks. Yeah.
Love rusks.
Rusks are so good.
Damn, where do you buy them? I need to buy some rusks and hot coffee in the morning or tea.
Coffee. Okay, I'll tell you what. Next hunting trip, I will bring rusks. Homemade.
Are you making them or are you buying them?
Homemade rusks.
Send the recipe, man.
I've got a recipe for them.
But
you don't eat carbs, so.
Oh, that's a good point. Carb-free rusks. Do they exist? Probably not.
No.
I do eat carbs. I just don't eat many of them. Anyway, let's not talk about my food habits. Let's wrap this up. It's 10:10. We've been doing it for 2 hours. Thanks for joining us, Jono. Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Good night.
Thank you, gents.
Everybody.
Catch you soon.
Good night, too.
You have to stop.